Seventh inning, bases loaded, nobody out. Martin Maldonado's spot in the order. Yesterday, actually on Monday, Dusty said that Michael Brantley was available. Tuesday, yesterday before the game, he said Michael Brantley is going to start the series finale later tonight. Instead, he goes with John Singleton with the bases loaded, nobody out, down by 5 runs in the 7th inning. What'd you make of that decision?
Hated it, but it told us what we already knew. If you listen to this show, you already knew that the minute that he missed 2 games in a row, and it wasn't against a lefty, that before they even got onto this road trip, we said he's done. He's done. That's it. It's over. There's just too many things that are pointing to what Dusty inevitably had to respond to, which was, well, he's got some soreness. Well, once we heard that following up when he should have played and didn't play, and we saw Kessinger on deck instead of him in the Orioles series in a really key moment, everything solidified the fact that he's done for the year. Just shut him down. But then if that's the case, why do we go on America's Biggest Secrets and continue to kind of carry him along and act like at a certain point he's going to be a key member of this team again, or he's going to play again, and get someone else up there as a bat that you might be able to use? Because I firmly believe he's done for the year. I firmly believe that he's not going to be able to help you anymore, especially, with 4 games left. And in the situations where you could have used him, he hasn't been able to contribute. I don't get it. I don't know. I didn't like it. I've seen enough of John Singleton for the rest of the year. No offense to him, but I'm not looking for him to be a guy that can contribute with a team that's this desperate and hungry for situational hitting. It bothered me, but at that point, I felt like I just felt like they weren't going to catch them, and I know they were 1 base runner away, but it annoyed me.
You don't think that Brantley's going to play?
I don't think Brantley's going to play the rest of the season.
Now, Dusty said yesterday before the game that he's starting tonight.
We'll see.
In left field. Yeah, I mean,
we'll see.
He said it before and hadn't played.
He's also said that he's been fine or he's got discomfort.
And he
but
said
we
he
plan
was
on using
available
him.
Monday.
Yeah, and he was available, and we haven't seen him. So, again, I'll believe it when I see it, and then I'll be wrong because I don't believe we're going to see him the rest of the year.
Dusty was asked about it after the game, and Dusty's answer to using Jonathan Singleton in that spot and not Michael Brantley. Dusty Baker said Michael Brantley was available. Now, was that a bluff? Perhaps. Baker said that Brantley was available but opted for Singleton because, quote, we were down a bunch of runs, and he thought Singleton gave them the best shot of an extra base hit or home run. He said he just missed that ball. That's why we got him in that situation. Here's the thing. You're down by 5 runs. Like, does John Singleton have a chance to hit a 5-run homer? Like, yeah, what? I don't, like, who cares if he hits a home run in that spot? Like, yeah, you're a run closer, or you're within 1 run. But to me, that entire situation is about getting the tying run to the plate in the 7th. It's getting another base runner on base. And I was going at it with some people on Twitter today because they're like, well, John Singleton had a productive plate appearance. Whenever you're down by 5 runs in the 7th inning and you have 9 outs left to play with, I don't care how many runs you drove in on that sacrifice fly, making outs is not a good thing. You have 9 outs left, you're down by 5 runs, you cannot make an out. I don't care if it leads to a run on a sacrifice fly. And yes, I totally understand that Singleton had a better plate appearance in that inning than Jose Altuve. He had a better plate appearance in that inning than Alex Bregman. But if Dusty Baker is telling us all that Michael Brantley's available, which is a giant mystery, who knows if he really is. If Dusty Baker's telling us before the game that Michael Brantley's going to start in the most important game of the regular season, how is Michael Brantley not coming to that spot, into that lineup, in that spot, to try to get on base, to try to bring the tying run to the plate? This is another questionable decision from Dusty Baker. Is it the reason they lost yesterday? No, not by a mile. If the Astros missed the playoffs this season, is it all on Dusty Baker? No, it's not, a large part of it. But yesterday's game was not on Dusty. But these are the decisions that drives the fan base crazy. You're telling us all week that Michael Brantley's available. You told us that before Game 1. Before Game 2, you say he's playing later. After Game 2, you said that he was available, but you opted for John Singleton. In what world, when you're down by 5 runs in the 7th inning, are you going to John Singleton instead of Michael Brantley?
Yeah, because Brantley's not a guy he's not going to hit you the big fly. But if Brantley's healthy, and that's a huge if, but what Brantley does is he hits gaps. He hits base hits. He's got a great eye. He's a 300 hitter. He continues to keep the merry-go-round moving. He continues to set the table, so then maybe if you want to use Singleton as the big bopper after that, when you have a legit chance to tie the game, and you're looking for the one big swing with outs kind of disintegrating and running out of outs to make sure you get back on the board, then maybe that makes more sense. But in that situation, for so many reasons, it didn't make sense to go to Singleton. But in more cases than that, it tells you even more, at least in my opinion, about what you don't have in Michael Brantley. You don't have the option to go to him. You're not going to be able to go to him. And Dusty can continue to keep telling us it's raining outside when the sun shines bright, or vice versa, and we're supposed to believe it, but I'll believe it when I see it that he starts tonight.
Now, if he starts tonight and he's in the lineup, how do you feel about pinch hitting for Singleton?
Now it's all on
Singleton
Dusty.
And not Brantley.
Now it's completely on Dusty.
Like and maybe this is my fault for taking Dusty at his word, but the moment that he tells me he's available Monday, the moment that he tells me that he's starting on Wednesday, he tells you post-game that he was available, but it was your choice to go Singleton, I'm taking him for his word. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm wrong. But he's telling you in that moment post-game that he had the option between John Singleton, Michael Brantley, down by 5 runs with nobody out, bases loaded in the 7th inning. You have 9 outs left to play with. And I love John Singleton's story. But there is in no universe, if Michael Brantley was truly available, like the manager is telling all of us that he's truly available, should he be on the bench while John Singleton's getting a critical at-bat? Yes, he had a sacrifice fly. Great job. You score a run when you're down by 5. Now it's a 4-run game, and you're in the exact same situation where a runner has to reach base for the tying run to come to the plate. A sacrifice fly is not what you need there. You need a runner on base, and Michael Brantley gives you a much better chance at getting on base than John Singleton. And if he doesn't, then Michael Brantley shouldn't be starting tonight.
That's the thing. And if he can't and he doesn't start tonight, then why the hell has he still been on the roster this long to this point? Because of the fact that you at least needed someone else that might be able to put bat on baseball without discomfort or soreness when you're in this key of a moment in the season. But also when you look at it to the Dusty point, when we talked about the fact that when deer in the headlights looked like he had absolutely no clue with 1 out and being the runner on third base when Jake and Dusty came to his defense or said the play wasn't on, the read play. If that's what you're telling us, then you're actually asking us to point the finger at you. Not all the other shortcomings of all the guys that aren't hitting that we know and all the pitching woes of the guys that can't do what they used to do or have been doing. All those things, you're bringing the attention directly on your behind.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Did it cost them the game? You can't say it cost them. They were down 5 runs in the 7th inning. The game yesterday was not on Dusty. It was more defense, more lack of offense for the entire time. We'll get to the pitching here and the defense here in a moment. The decision to go Montero in the 5th, we'll bring that up as well. Real quick, though. Chas McCormick got plunked in the 9th inning. Mm-hmm. Second pitch of the inning. Intentional?
You questioned me when I said the Altuve one I thought was intentional. Uh-huh. I think this is more or less, and this is the BS that kind of goes to what you were talking about yesterday. I have so little respect for Seattle, for their fan base, and you know their manager. And like I said, I played against him ever since I've been very, very young. But Scott Servais, to me, is just a complete D-bag. Like, the fact that I believe that 2 nights in a row, and this time where you're riding high on your horse, that it was almost like you want to get one more chance to rev everybody up or send a message, that you're going to go in and get Chas to where he has to leave the game and he gets plunked right in the middle of the small of the back. I can't say no. I can't say that it wasn't intentional. And if I said it 2 days ago, I'll say it for yesterday too. And I'll tell you that dude and that team has little class, zero respect for me. And I think that I could say a lot more, but that ticked me off too.
Yeah, the Altuve one was different because it's like deep into a count. Like it's a 3-2 count. Yeah. You're giving Altuve opportunities to hit some pitches, to get on base. Like if the intent's to hit Altuve, I don't think you're ever giving him a pitch to swing at. Yesterday's different. Yesterday was the second pitch of the inning. The first pitch was a slider, nowhere near the zone. Second pitch dotted him. Like I think it was 100% intentional. And quite frankly, I thought this was more like kind of a strategy chess move, like get it in Chas's mind that, hey, we're going to go high and tight to you because he's a hitter that likes to dive it over the plate. He stays way back off the plate, and he dives over the plate and tries to crush balls to right field. I had totally forgotten about the fact that he slapped at Ty France's glove earlier this year. Yeah. So the fact that happened earlier in this year, we know that in baseball, these dudes don't forget. Like, they carry grudges for years, and you have dudes that are throwing at other dudes for something that other dude did 3 years ago. I have zero doubt in my mind that was intentional, and I have zero doubt in my mind it was because Chas McCormick slapped at Ty France's glove way back in whatever month that was.
Yeah, I didn't think about it till Flimsy Cherry put it in the Twitch as you were saying it too, and you guys are probably right. And look, there are long memories in baseball. You're right about that too. But if I'm the Astros, a night after having one of my key players hit and now having Chas hit and knowing that this is the kind of move Scott Servais would do anyway, if I'm up tonight later in the game, I believe me, I'm telling one of my 95-plus guys, to go dot somebody up.
It's got to be like a +4, -4 game, though. Like, you can't.
Right,
it's
right.
Massive game.
You don't want to set the
massive
table.
stakes.
If you got 2 outs, too, that would be better.
But I need a lead. Like, I can't. Like, this is almost tonight game's so important that unless I'm up by 4, like down by 3, I'm not even messing around with that stuff. This is something I'm carrying over to next year.
But J-Rod's in my crosshairs. Their best players are in my crosshairs. I don't want anything of Kelnick. Yeah. I'm looking for guys that are going to send the same kind of message back that we won't be pushed around and bullied. And if you want some, come get some.
Honestly, I don't mind Seattle doing it. Like it was a kind of a Bush League play from Chas McCormick, so it's fine to get the retaliation, but retaliation also needs to come. I also didn't love the fire from the dugout. Like that to me was a little bit telling. Like Chas McCormick just gets dotted with a 99-mile-per-hour fastball.
Facts.
We think it was intentional. They know that Chas McCormick slapped at Ty France's glove, and everybody's just kind of ho-hum about it. Like in a critical series on the road, like that didn't sit well with me.
No, and that you're right. That leads to a lot of people who are making more and more accusations and innuendo of the fact that there's a divided clubhouse, or the clubhouse isn't as together and unified as it's been in the past. And they have issues, whether it be with the manager, management, players, who knows? But I noticed the same thing. I'm like, dude, if that's my squad and my guy gets plunked and we got dotted 2 nights in a row and we haven't retaliated, I'm up on the top step. I'm riding. I'm getting over the railing. I'm at least stepping out on the field with my hands in the air going, the hell are you doing?
Yeah, like it didn't sit well with me.